I'm off to France for less than 24 hours. I'm getting the night ferry there tonight and I don't have a bed. I've just arrived at the Plymouth International Ferry port and I'll be boarding the ferry. I can see it already there, over there somewhere. And I'll be spending the night on there, but I'd already paid quite a lot for the ferry tickets in themselves and the cabins were an extra £70 on this leg and I just couldn't quite stretch my budget for it. So probably in for a night of little sleep. I love getting ferries. I do usually like to have a bed on them, but I thought that it would also make a good video. So I'm going to take you along with me so you can see what the Brittany ferries are like that connect Plymouth with France, and you can also see what it's like to stay on these ferries with no bed. So I've parked up at the official ferry car park. It costs £13 for 24 hours, although I have bought 25 hours because I think I'll be a little bit over 24 hours. And the good thing with this is that you can pay on the app, pay by phone. So if there's any delays, I can just add a bit of time to the parking. So hopefully we'll avoid any parking fees. The terminal is right next to the car park and I think it's time to check in. So I've arrived into the ferry terminal. It's really easy when you get here. You just follow departures and then you go up and you check in. There was no queue at all. I just walked straight up and checked in, just gave them my passport and they got all of the details of the booking with that and gave me my ticket. So I do have an assigned seat. I'm hoping means that it will be comfier than a normal seat, we'll see, but it is very much a seat. Yeah, I'm not too sure about this. Every time I do a long overnight transport with a seat without a bed, I always say after that I'm never going to do that again, and then I book it again. But yeah, so far the terminal seems nice. The terminal seems pretty clean and easy to navigate. Apparently we've got about 20 minutes till the ferry starts boarding. So I'm not sure if I've said where I'm going yet. So I'm off to Roscoff in Brittany. I'm doing this as an extreme day trip. So taking the night ferry, seeing Roscoff tomorrow, and then taking the ferry back, basically, which is a bit extreme, but I wanted to try the ferry out and I wanted to see if it was feasible to do an extreme day trip without flying from the southwest of England where I live. So in the next few videos I'll be showing you Roscoff, I'll be showing you the ferry, and I'll be assessing whether it's a good idea to do an extreme day trip like this. I think I'm in the right place. It's always strange being a foot passenger because you just kind of get told to go on, but you end up kind of walking on with the cars sometimes. So I'm boarded and this is home for the next 8 hours. So I'm in a private lounge and I have a reserved seat in the lounge. There are about, I'm gonna say about 40 seats in this lounge, and the seats are big, like bigger than plane seats. Feel a little bit comfier than plane seats, but they are still seats. At the moment there is no one else here, so I may get lucky and have no one or few people here, fingers crossed, but I do have a seat right next to me, so I'm hoping no one checks into that because that might be a bit awkward. It does seem to get a bit of a decent recline, to be fair. No footrest, so I can recline and sort of sleep like that. I mean, it's not going to be great sleep, it's going to be like sleeping on a plane, but it's okay.
The cabins, how do you get in?
Just a quick ad break as I'm just popping out on a day trip and I want to share how you can save money on UK trains this summer. And that's why I'm so excited to introduce today's sponsor, TrainPal. The best way to save money on UK trains is to purchase a rail card. With a rail card, you can save 1/3 off most UK rail fares. You can apply for rail cards depending on your age, where you live, and your status. And the very best way to get a rail card is via the TrainPal app. Now, TrainPal is an essential app for travelling in the UK and in Europe because by using this app you can buy rail cards and purchase train tickets. And with my code Claire, you get a whopping 20% off all rail card purchases on the TrainPal app and a further 5% off of tickets purchased on the app. This code is reusable, so you can use it as many times as you want before the 31st of December 2024. TrainPal also has no booking fees, which ensures that your ticket is always at least £1 cheaper. Now that I've saved money on my UK trains, I'm off to have a lovely day out in London. Let's go back to the ferry and see how I'm finding it. had a little look around the shop because I kind of fancied something sweet, but it was very expensive in there. It was like £6 for a chocolate bar. But I did buy this memory foam pillow, £13. It feels quite good quality, and I realised I didn't have a pillow, so I think this will up my comfort levels in my seat a little bit. And we seem to be sailing, so let's go and try and find a viewpoint where I can look out over Plymouth.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard the Armoury. This is your entertainment manager, Checkin, speaking, with a short entertainment announcement. If you'd like to join us on Deck 7 in the bar by the stage area, we have a couple of entertainment offerings for you this evening.
It is lovely up here, the sun is setting, I can see Plymouth and I can see Drake's Island and all of the parts of the coastline, but it's getting quite windy and quite cold, so I think I'm going to retreat indoors now. I had a roast dinner about 5, so I don't really need to eat, but I might get a dessert, and let's do a little walk around the boat and I will show you exactly what it's like inside. So far I'm pretty impressed. There's quite a lot of nice different spaces. They have entertainment on. Yeah, it's good atmosphere. So I'll go in. First we have the bar and then we have the self-service restaurant. So it's the self-service restaurant, the bar and the reading lounge on deck 7, and now I'm on deck 6, which is the deck that I am sleeping on. Along with trivia and music, there is also a cinema, so they've got 2 screenings of 2 films tonight. I won't be watching them, I'm gonna go to sleep quite early. That may be my breakfast tomorrow. So if I'm not happy with my seat, it does seem that there are lots of other places to go as well. So I'm in another lounge at the moment, and this doesn't seem to have anyone in. I'm not sure if there's much recline on these seats though. Oh, that's okay. So this is deck 6, and this has a shop, 2 cinemas, and the private lounges where you have your seats. So if you are on a seat like me, then you will be on this deck. There's also a little cafe here, but it doesn't seem to be open, so I guess it's probably a breakfast, maybe lunch thing. And it looks like deck 8 and deck 9 are where the cabins are. Now, I'm getting the ferry back tomorrow afternoon, and I do actually have a cabin then, even though it's not actually a night ferry. I made in a nap by that point. So I'm going to show you all around the cabin in my video on the way back. So this is just focusing on my seat here. I will be going up to those decks on my return journey. It is exactly the same ship, but right now I think I'm going to go to my bag, get my Kindle out, and then go upstairs and see if I can find some dessert. I am slightly concerned about where my nearest toilet is in these seats. Yeah, this says toilets behind me, but they are very locked. I really don't know where my nearest toilets are, and I have an overactive bladder, so this is something I quite often need to know. This is why I usually do try and go for a cabin, just to have my own toilet, or at least a toilet near me. Really don't know where these toilets are. This is sending me downstairs. Surely there's some on this deck. Found them. So they are a bit of a walk away from my cabin area. Jazzy. Right, I think the plan now is go up to the self-serve restaurant. I think they're still serving dessert. They did say they were going to stop serving hot food in half an hour, so that is one thing to note. They do stop serving it quite quickly after the ship leaves because it's 10 o'clock, so no one's eating that late. But I'm going to hopefully get a dessert and then just read my book for a bit, and then I think it's time to try and sleep as best I can. I was going to get a chocolate mousse, but then I saw they did Ben & Jerry's vegan ice cream, and I thought, do you know what? That is what I want. I'm down in the self-service restaurant seating area now, and it's quite quiet. I think most people are in the bar. Actually, it's quite quiet in general. Like my seating room I'm in, there's only a few people who seem to have checked in there. There is someone sitting right in front of me, which is a bit strange. I guess I can just move. And there are a lot of other spaces as well that I think I can go to if I get uncomfortable in my chair. So there are definitely options, but I probably will regret not paying the extra money for a sleeper, but it was just quite a lot of money on top of money that I'd already paid, so I thought I'd just suck it up for the night. I always book these things and then I go and do them and I'm like, why did I sign up to this? Anyway, I'm going to enjoy my ice cream, I'm going to read some of my Kindle, and I will check back in a bit. It's about 10 to 11 now, so I think I'm going to slowly start making my way back to my seating area and yeah, start getting ready for bed, I think, and turn in for the night. We arrive into Roscoff at 7 AM UK time. I would quite like to check out the breakfast here, so I'm going to try and get up a little bit earlier than that. This is presuming that I have a full night's sleep, which may or may not happen. I'm very tired. So obviously being seat only, I do have to come and use the public communal restroom. But these ones do seem very clean. They're very jazzy coloured. But yeah, cleanliness is the most important thing. I'm not actually sure when I have a cabin on the way back. I'm not actually sure if I even have an ensuite. Then I can't remember what I booked. So I might be coming back to these toilets anyway. All ready for bed. I have just done my full skincare, which I always try and do when I'm travelling by night. It just makes me feel a lot better. Usually I full on get changed into my pyjamas as well, but I'm travelling very light, so I'm just sleeping in this and then I think wearing this tomorrow. I have been in these toilets for about 10 minutes now and no one else has come in, so I don't think they're being used that much. But yeah, no, they're pretty nice. They are clean, which is the most important thing. The colour scheme is giving 1970s kitchen vibes. I was going to go straight back to the lounge, but actually they have turned the lights off now, which is a good thing because I was a bit worried at one point that they were going to stay on all night and you do not want that. So they seem to have turned off now, but I might go and find a chair a little bit outside just to read a little bit more. Good morning. We're about 20 minutes away from Roscoff now. I slept okay, I will say probably better than in an airline seat, but obviously it's still a seat, like it's not going to be as comfy as a bed, but there wasn't anyone next to me, which did make a lot of difference because I could kind of put my legs across. The only couple of things were that they had armrests in the middle of the seats, so you couldn't properly stretch or anything like that. I kind of had my legs over the armrest. It was also quite cold. I didn't bring a blanket, and I had my Mac, my rain Mac, which I kind of had to use as a makeshift blanket. So those were the only two things, but the seats themselves were okay, and it was very quiet in there. There were only a few people in there and everyone was just asleep. No one came in making noise and stuff, which is always like my biggest thing, even though I always sleep in earplugs. Sometimes the noise can get a bit too much still. I woke up feeling very dehydrated, so I had to grab a bottle of water. I've got a pan of chocolate here, which I'm going to eat now. Oh, it feels flaky. That's good. And they do have soy milk here and they can do soy milk cappuccino. So I've got a soy milk cappuccino. And yeah, I'm going to eat this, and then we're really not far away at all, so I guess I should eat this and then go and watch us arriving into Roscoff. I mean, it's to be expected, we are on a French ferry, but the pan au chocolats are amazing. We just don't get them like this in the UK. So good. We may actually be here. We seem to have stopped. I can see land over there, but then I can also see like a jetty here. Let's go and have a look. I was aiming to go outside for when we got here, but I slept in too late.
Your attention please, we are now docking in Roscoff. On behalf of Captain Grimaud and all of his crew, we hope that you enjoyed your sailing on board our week.
Right, I've had my disembarkation call. So yeah, it's worth noting, I've done a lot of these ferries as foot passenger now, and you do usually have to wait until all the cars get off, or at least until there's like a break in the cars. Usually it's not too long, like this was just 10 minutes or so, but I have been waiting an hour before. So what they did here, rather than wait until the cars had all gone off, so we went down to the Underbelly, they added this gangway, what do you call it? I don't know, added this arm basically, which pedestrians use just like walking off a plane. So this is not too bad. And then I suppose, I forgot about this, but I guess I'm gonna have to go through immigration now. which would make sense, wouldn't it? Because yeah, I didn't go for any on the way there. Yeah, because you only go for it in France, don't you? In when you go from Dover to Calais, on the UK side, you go through immigration in Calais, and then you get back to the UK and you don't go through anything. But I guess if you do it the other way around, you probably also do it in Calais. Back in the public loos, I'm just going to freshen up and then head out to see Roscoff. I had to go through immigration then. It was just normal immigration like there is at any airport. So got off the mechanical arm, got on a bus, and the bus took us to immigration. Those buses always make me laugh because they literally just take you across the road, but I guess it is just to stay safe. And yeah, then went through immigration, very easy, and now I'm through and I'm here. So yeah, it's an easy way to get into the country. And I was thinking, when I was young, I grew up in Kent, so we used to drive to the coast, like drive to Dover and get the Channel Tunnel or the ferry to Calais, and then we drive somewhere in France for our holidays. I guess for people growing up in the West Country, and maybe we'll do this, me and my partner at some point, I guess this is the easier place to access the continent, especially if you're going further south in France, because this is a bit further south. So it is a longer ferry, you know, it's overnight, or in the daytime it's like, there are some 6-hour ferries on the way back. But you do get that bit further south and you don't have to drive all the way to the east of England. So that's helpful. Anyway, time to freshen up, and then, yeah, then I'll tell you what I'm doing in Roscoff. Oh, that's better. So, I have freshened up a bit, feel a bit more awake now, and I'm just about to go and head into Roscoff and see what the town has to offer. So Roscoff is a port town in Brittany, and I've always been very interested in Brittany because my ancestors, going back to at least the 12th century, are Cornish. While I've never lived in Cornwall, I'm very interested in Cornwall. Always had a real keen interest in the region and its identity, and Brittany has a very similar identity. So they speak, well, French is still the most spoken language by far, but they do have their own language, Breton, which is very similar to Cornish, and a lot of the culture and history is the same as well. And this is because the crossing that I've just done was, you know, it was an easier maritime route than even going through England, and that's how people would always travel from what is now the UK to France. And if you have a look at all the Celtic nations, they're all they go up in a loop, and Brittany is one of them. So it is very, very interesting. You know, I felt a bit like I was sailing the routes of my forebears last night. So yeah, it's kind of a special crossing to me, definitely. So I'm gonna go have a little walk around the town now, see what I can see if I can see any Breton, learn about any Breton, and maybe there's an island I might go to as well. But yeah, just see where I get to. Not got too many plans, and I've only got a few hours before my ferry back, but let's see how much I can fit in. I'm going to do a video all about my day in Roscoff, and then another video about the day back. So I will leave this one here. Thank you so much for watching. Do check out my next videos in this little series, and I hope I'll see you there. Bye!